Definitely each species has been a new learning curve, and for us to raise as many as we do, we've learned quite a bit throughout the while.
Oh, two of you guys. All right, so we're currently here at Reviving Foods Ranch, and we are actually gonna be meeting up with the ranch owners who own this place. They're gonna be telling us a little bit about how they started their ranch and how they were able to afford this area. They actually got a lot of stuff going on, but they were able to do this in just less than 5 years. So I'm pretty interested to learn about their story and to hear their story and what they did and what it took for them to get where they are today. So stay tuned in this video and let's go meet Kyle and Megan. So yeah, I'm just gonna go down to really just trying to understand about how you guys kind of operate here at the ranch and what you guys have been able to do to afford something like this and how you guys lifestyle goes as in terms of being ranch owners. So if you don't mind just telling us a little bit about yourselves and what you guys do here at the ranch as well.
So yeah, we decided to make a change in our lives about 2 years ago. So we were in the construction industry, which is why there's still some pieces of our construction equipment around and why we have trailers and old trucks like this. And we decided that we were going to follow things that were more our passions in life. So Megan had been growing animals and raising animals and trying to feed our family just on a small scale for about 10 years.
Wow.
And then after that 10 years had gone by, she realized that that really was the thing she enjoyed doing more so than working, as we do multi-species raising. So Megan raises, cattle and goats and sheep and chickens, turkeys, pigs, rabbits, you name it, we've got it. And that allows us to be a little more diverse with what we do, with our sales at the markets and some of the things like this trailer here. We're able to make our bone broths and farm-to-table soups, and then we bring those to the farmers markets, like in Coppell Farmers Market is one of our larger ones, but we also go to Krugerville and Sanger and a few other spots as well.
Sounds good. So like you just mentioned something about, you guys, how you actually kind of, run a business, running a farm, which is really interesting. And we want to touch that on later a little bit. If you don't mind, just, you can give us a walkthrough about your ranch so that we can see the different species and what you guys have going on. And then.
So the animals have been in the same spot because of the freezing weather, trying to stay close to electricity so we can keep their waters defrosted. But all of these nets are electric fencing, portable fencing. And so we start with an empty paddock at the front, which is where we're going to be moving to today. The cattle go first. They're probably the most picky as far as their forage, what they eat. They like the grasses more than any weeds or anything like that. And then we have the sheep. And the sheep will eat a wider variety of forage. They like the broader leaf weeds, and they'll eat the grass too, but they basically clean up whatever the cattle leave behind. The horses are only in here again because we're trying to keep everybody in water, and there's only so many de-icers to go around for the water troughs. But behind the sheep are the chickens. And the chickens are great at scratching through the manure, finding fly larvae, and just fertilizing the pasture as well, plus they provide us eggs.
So like how many hours a day do you guys put in order to kind of basically run the operations? I know it's basically two of you that usually manage this whole place, is that correct?
It takes me 8 hours a day to manage the animals. Wow. Kyle handles all of our social media and farmers markets, and he'll help me if I need help, but typically I'm the one, taking care of the chores, and he handles the rest of.
I mean, it could be quite a bit more if we're doing things like the garden and increasing quantities of animals or adding in the milking. So the amount of time it takes, just basic every day, is probably about 8 hours.
8 hours, awesome. Basically, I noticed that you guys kind of have chickens and I think you have sheep over there. So in terms of how you guys kind of do business? Do you like guys have customers come by and then kind of sell your products, or do you guys actually take stuff out to like market it to people? And
We do a little bit of everything. So we
Okay.
sell on our farm, but you know, as you experienced here today, it's just far enough outside of the Metroplex where not everybody has time to come and make that trip every week to fill up their freezers. We raise most of our animals for meat, although our dairy animals do contribute milk to a lot of families around here. But we bring our food and our products to farmers markets as well.
so like just to talk a little bit about numbers, I know like owning a farm is a pretty big investment, you know, from you guys transitioning to where you used to do construction to what you're doing now. Like what would you say was the amount of investment that you had to make in order to make all these things happen?
I mean, it's tough because we kind of blur all the lines with you know what we do as a family, and because our business is here on the same property we live.
Okay.
I think if you were trying to set up a business where you were doing this and it wasn't where you lived and it was just on acreage, it'd be pretty expensive. And you know, depending on the area you're going at, I mean, it's infrastructure-wise, it's millions and millions of dollars. But you know, we did it little chunks at a time, so it didn't quite cost us in that kind of realm.
It's hard because there's a lot that has to go into it, because
Yeah.
you have to buy the fences, you have to build the structures, you have to, you know, and that's not counting the land. So had we not already spent our lives working in a different industry and saving and having put ourselves in a place where we didn't have a lot of bills, we wouldn't have been able to do this. We put some of our retirement on this. I mean, just it's a choice and something that we wanted to do. And
So just basically taking a risk
Yeah.
and just risking it.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's
Anything in business is a risk, so.
That's for sure. So like for someone, let's say like who was looking forward to like having a ranch in the future, like what are some of the things that you think someone should know beforehand if they are trying to get into an industry that you guys are in right now?
start small. I mean, because we learned a lot, you know, being homesteading basically, and you can grow a lot in a few acres, so you don't have to have as much as we ended up with, and you can kind of grow into it, I guess. Also, there's a lot of people that will either partner with somebody that has land and they'll lease the land, or find somebody that has a chunk of land they're not using, and that they'll let them farm on it for a period of time and make sure it's something you want to do, because it definitely is a non-stop job, and you know, you still work Christmas and Easter and all of those holidays. So
Sounds good. Just out of curiosity, so like what would you say is like the most profitable area of running this business from you guys' perspective? I know you kind of sell and do different kind of things here. So what's the most profitable field in this ranch that you would say that you guys...
I would say diversification is the key, because none of them are really profitable by themselves, and you don't know where maybe a large expense will come about in one area, but maybe you're able to save in something else. Like this year, the drought was really bad. We had to buy a lot more hay.
Okay.
So, you know, the cattle eat the most hay. Is tough for cattle this year. Sheep don't eat as much, you know, and so I think everything kind of balances out. Just single species farming, I think, is easier as far as your time goes, but harder as far as revenue goes.
Well, I'm kind of wanting to know, like, when you guys first started, like, how much did you actually like buy a horse or buy a cow? Like, what was the price range of owning at least one of these that you guys have here?
Oh, well, so we came from homesteading. So we started with chickens, which aren't very expensive, and then we got goats, which just is like a little step up on cost-wise, and sheep are probably in the same ballpark. Cattle are much more expensive. Cattle, you know, depending on you get, some of it is you get what you pay for, and some of it is, you know, maybe the right opportunity at the right time. But
If you buy a full-size chicken, you might be at $25. Then your ruminants and your sheep and your goats, you know, hundreds of dollars, and your cows probably thousands of dollars. Horses definitely thousands of dollars, and you know, some of them take more to maintain than others. You know, as far as how much extra things you have to buy for them to eat, and some of them just eat the grass, and there's plenty for them depending on what you have.
What would you say is something that people need to avoid doing if they are trying to get into this type of, you know, owning a ranch? What are some of the mistakes that somebody should avoid?
I would say, just like with any business, don't wait until you have 100% of it planned, because you're not going to be able to think through all of the things that are going to happen or that will need to change. So, you know, the big thing is don't overplan. Get in there with a good idea of what you want. Get about 50 to 75% thought through with everything you need to do, and then start to act. Because if you just wait, prices of the land is going to go up, interest rates are going to go up, everything is going to get more and more expensive. So the quicker you can get in there and do it on a small scale, the better.
I just want to ask you guys, like, you know, one final question.
Sure.
You know, for anybody who might be watching this video right now, I know that you guys, you know, ranch owners, just like, what is one advice or one tip that one person should take if they wanted to start like a farm business? Like, what is one important advice that you would advise somebody to know beforehand?
I would say definitely get your hands dirty. Get in there and try it. There are a lot of farms that will, you know, let you come out and help, or, you know, give you an opportunity to maybe use some of their land to try what you want to try. But, you know, get in there, find somebody who's doing it, who's doing something similar to what you want to do, and just start to talk to them and do it, because the investment on the land is very expensive.
Okay.
And it might take a while before you find what you need, but that doesn't mean it's stopping you from getting the skills that you need.
just start somewhere, basically.
Just start.
All right, guys, that's it for this video. Shout out to Dove Experiences for making this possible for us to make it here today and to meet up with the ranch owners who actually gave us an experience and told us a little bit about their ranch and how their experience has been in a couple years. So without further ado, this is the end of the video. We're gonna be driving off the ranch and we're gonna be heading back to town because we're actually in the middle of nowhere right now, but this was a cool experience anyways. So subscribe to the video and also like the video, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Come here, doggy. Why is the dog in the camera?